Alright guys, it is now time for my Week 9 picks of the 2023 NFL seasons. We're nearing the halfway mark, as of course last week I went 10-6, not as good as I want to, but compared to last week I'll have to take that. Much massive improvement, and of course here is the playoff stands and the regular season stands at the season end today. In the AFC it's the Chiefs with the bye, with Browns at Dolphins, Steelers at Jaguars, and Bills at Ravens. And the NFC, it's the Eagles with the bye, with Vikings at Lions, 49ers at Seahawks, and Cowboys at Falcons. And my Super Bowl prediction is the Eagles over the Dolphins. So now, let's get to my Week 9 picks. Start off with tonight, of course, to begin November for the season, as it's a big one, the AFC side of the playoffs, as the Titans are at the Steelers for the first time since 2021. The Steelers won the last three. The Titans haven't beaten them since 2013. So the Titans finally ended their 2-game win streak with a win. And Will Levis made his first start. And he was unbelievable with 4 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins got 3 of them too. Absolutely insane to debut as they beat the Falcons. Meanwhile, the Steelers lost. Although the team they lost to won't come to my head for some reason. Oh yeah, the Jaguars. I don't know why it wouldn't come to my head. So yeah, lost to the Jaguars. Defensive struggle. Now, of course, this is going to be very interesting. Was Will Levis' debut just like an incredible start, or was that just like a fluke and he's going to be shit afterwards? I still think I trust the Steelers' defense more, so I think I'm going to pick the Steelers for this one. But I guess I won't be surprised if the Titans get the win. Levis continues to play good. Guess we'll see. And then we start off Sunday with another international series game in Germany, as it's a huge one too, as it's the Dolphins at the Chiefs. For the first time since 2017, with the number 1 seed on the line. As, I don't know why it says, oh yeah, I never updated this. Dang it. So anyways, the Chiefs won, like, the last several games, I think. Like, at least 3. Yeah, I think they've won the last 3, and the Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2011, I believe. So anyways, the Dolphins, of course, beat the Patriots last week to get the 6-2. Meanwhile, the Chiefs lost embarrassingly to the Broncos, and in their 16-game losing streak. It wasn't the fact that they lost to the Broncos, it's the fact that they got obliterated, completely humiliated by the Broncos, as they've just not been looking that good this year compared to like even last year and all that. So you know what? My hype on the Dolphins continues, as I'm going to pick them to win this one. But I guess I won't be surprised if the Chiefs win, since the Dolphins cannot beat like the Super Bowl contenders in the league so far, losing to the Bills and Eagles. And then a huge outer conference matchup, as it's the Seahawks at the Ravens for the first time since 2015. The Ravens won the last one. The Seahawks haven't beaten them since 2015, and they haven't won. And the Ravens haven't won at home against them since 2003. And I went to that game too. Thank you, NFL Throwback, for uploading the video recently. That was nice. So of course the Seahawks, with their comeback victory over the Browns, although it wasn't the most impressive one, as they now lead the NFC West. Meanwhile, the Ravens beat the Cardinals, so they're now 6-2, leading the AFC North right now by quite a little safe margin at the moment. Still looking very good. Don't know if I fully trust either one of these teams right now, but I think I'm going to pick the Ravens for this one. A rare moment I actually picked the Ravens for once. And then we get to a big NFC matchup, as it's the Vikings at the Falcons for the first time since 2017. As the Falcons won the last one, the Vikings haven't beaten them since 2019. They haven't won in Atlanta since 2017, as both teams are trying to get over 500. The Vikings, they beat the Packers, but it was very costly, as they lost Kirk Cousins for the rest of the year. Oof, that just hurts, as he's down, and they trade for Josh Dobbs from the Cardinals. However, since the trade happened so recently, I'm very sure he's not going to start this week, as the Vikings backup is going to start here too. Meanwhile, the Falcons lost to the that's right, they lost to Will Levis when he just torched them pretty much. Close game, but they just couldn't get it done. Very close competitive game between these two. And Taylor Heineke is going to start too for the Falcons, so maybe that'll make a difference. Guess we'll have to see. Problem is, Vikings, of course, you don't know how their QB is going to do against the Falcons. We at least know what the Falcons are going to do. So, like, all the momentum the Vikings had these last 3 weeks winning, I think it might come to an end right here, unfortunately, with the Cousins injury. So I'm going to pick the Falcons for this, but I guess I won't be surprised if the Vikings get it. And then it's the Cardinals at the Browns for the first time since 2021. as the Cardinals won the last 5. The Browns haven't beaten them since 2003. So, of course, the Cardinals lost to the Ravens as they're 1-7 of the worst team in the league, and now they trade away Josh Dobbs. So now they're going to have someone else at quarterback now until Kyler Murray comes back. From what I heard on NFL.com, NFL recently might be potentially coming back this year. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, the Browns, of course, lost to the Seahawks, choking away a chance to win there as they're 4-3. I'm picking the Browns for this one. And then it's the Rams at the Packers for the 3rd year in a row. As the Packers won the last 2, the Rams haven't beaten them since 2018. They haven't won in Lambeau since 2006. As the Rams now have lost 2 in a row after they got destroyed and humiliated by the Cowboys. Meanwhile, the Packers, they got destroyed and humiliated by the Vikings as they now lost 4 in a row. They have like one of the longest losing streaks in the league. Like nothing's like going their way. Jordan Love has not been playing good after that like first 2 games of the year. And it's just about who do you trust more. Ugh. Just very, very, very disappointing for both teams. I think I still might pick the Packers first, but I'm not trusting them still. Alright, so then it's a big out-of-conference matchup as it's the Buccaneers at the Texans for the first time since 2015. As the Texans won the last 4, the Buccaneers haven't beaten them since 2003, their first matchup, and they've never won in Houston. As both teams are trying to get to 500, the Buccaneers lost a close one to the Bills as they lost their division lead, as they've now lost 3 in a row, trying to recover after a good start. Meanwhile, the Texans, of course, lost a defensive struggle to the Panthers. Pretty disappointing. Stroud did not play good after so many weeks straight of playing good. Now, this is going to come down to who do you trust more. And I kind of trust both teams, but it's like so tough. I think I might just pick the Texans still, but I won't be surprised if the Buccaneers get it. Alright, so then it's the Commanders at the Patriots for the first time since 2015. The Patriots won the last 4. The Commanders haven't beaten them since 2003, and they haven't won in Foxborough since 1996. Meanwhile, the Commanders, of course, lost to the Eagles. Both games were very close, but they just couldn't get the job done. Meanwhile, the Patriots couldn't beat the Dolphins as they have, I think, the worst record in the AFC, as nothing's really been going their way all year. Oh boy, this is a tough one. The Commanders have struggled against the Patriots, especially when they visit them over the last, 16 years or so. So, tough one, but I think I'm going to have to pick the Commanders still because there's nothing going right for the Patriots. Alright, then it's the Bears at the Saints for the first time since 2017. As the Saints won the last 6, the Bears haven't beaten them since 2008, and they haven't won in New Orleans since 2005. As the Bears, of course, got destroyed by the Chargers on Sunday night, and the Saints beat the Colts in a very competitive game as they're trying to get back over 500 for the first time since, week 5? Big game for them, and I'm going to pick the Saints for this one. And then we get to the 4 p.m. game, starting off with the Colts at Panthers for the first time since 2015. As the Colts won, the Colts did win the last one. The Panthers haven't beaten them since 2015. And the Colts haven't won in Charlotte since 2007. So the Colts, again, another competitive game, but they could not beat the Saints as they now lost 3 in a row. Meanwhile, the Panthers finally got their first win of the year, but they're still not looking really good. They look like, honestly, like one of the worst teams in the entire league, honestly, up there with the Giants, as they're just nothing's going right for them. So I'm gonna pick the Colts for this one. And then it's the Giants at the Raiders for the first time since 2017, as the Giants won the last one. The Colts, the Raiders haven't beaten them since 2017, and the Giants haven't won on the road since 2005 when they were in Oakland, of course. The Giants, 3 weeks in a row, they played very good defensive effort, but they choked it away against the Jets. They've now lost 2 in a row, trying to avoid having the same losses as last year. Meanwhile, the Raiders, of course, lost to the Lions, and they fired Josh McDaniels recently after the game. So he's gone, interim coach. I think it was their linebackers coach too. That's why you should have kept your interim head coach from 2021 when they got to playoffs. I said that from the very start. After making the playoffs, they should have kept him, but they didn't, and now they're gonna have to deal with this as the Raiders are in complete dysfunctional mess. And despite how bad the Giants have been playing, the fact that all 3 of their games recently have been close, I think I have more faith in them. I think I'm going to pick the Giants in a bold pick to get this. And then we get to the big NFC East matchup, as it's the Cowboys at the Eagles, as the Cowboys won the last one. The Eagles haven't beaten them since 2022, and the Cowboys haven't won in Philadelphia since 2021, although that was in 22 as well. So, of course, the Cowboys dominated the Rams as they're at 5-2, and Dak had a good game for once. Really good game. About time. Should have that more frequently. Meanwhile, the Eagles, of course, they beat the Commanders in a close game once again, as Hurts looked good. Maybe the Eagles are starting to finally look good again, but I'm still not fully impressed like I was last year for them. But I'm going to pick them easily to beat the Cowboys. And then we get to Sunday night, which sucks I'm not going to be able to see the good part of the first half since I got to do freaking MTWS. And that is the Bills at the Bengals for a second year in a row. And no one won since last year's game was canceled between these two. And hopefully do something special for DeMar Hamlin. Would be nice if he could play, too. I'm sure he will. And hopefully we can actually get the rematch that we didn't get last year. Complete BS. So anyways, the Bills haven't beat them since 2016 in Cincinnati. The Bengals haven't won at home against them since 2017. No, I think it's the other way around. Bills haven't won since 17, Bengals since 16. But anyways, the Bills already matched their lost hope from last year, like I said, as they beat the Buccaneers on Thursday night, trying to get back into wild card position to catch up with the Dolphins. Meanwhile, the Bengals have now won 3 in a row, and now, just like last year, now they're back in the mix. They looked really good after beating the 49ers. So far, the Bills have been kind of struggling this year. The Bengals have been struggling really bad early on in the year, but now they started to recover a little bit. And now they look pretty good. So I'm going to pick the Bengals for this one. And then we get to a big AFC wildcard matchup for Monday night, as it's the Chargers at the Jets for the first time since 2017. As the Chargers won the last 4, the Jets haven't beaten them since 2011. So the Chargers destroyed the Bears as they're 1 win away from getting back to 500. The Jets meanwhile have won against the Giants in an ugly game that they should have lost, as they've now won 3 in a row. They're over 500 and on the verge of getting back into the playoffs once again, despite not having Rodgers. Gee, maybe there's a chance maybe he could come back near the end of the year and try and get him into the playoffs potentially. So, interesting game between an elite offense in Chargers, elite defense of the Jets. But I think I trust the Chargers more still because of the struggles. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets get it, but I'm going to pick the Chargers for this one. Alright, so those are my picks for Week 9. I cannot wait for Titans and Steelers tonight. So my picks are the Steelers over the Titans, Dolphins over the Chiefs, the Ravens over the Seahawks, Falcons over the Vikings, Browns over the Cardinals, Packers over the Rams, Texans over the Buccaneers, Commanders over the Patriots, Saints over the Bears, Colts over the Panthers, Giants over the Raiders, Eagles over the Cowboys, Buccaneers over the Bengals over the Bills, and Chargers over the Jets. Alright, so see you guys next time for Week 10.